So this is the new HiSense 35 pint dehumidifier, which replaces this beast. Granted, this one's lasted probably 9 or 10 years. They don't make it anymore. So it's probably time to replace it, and I ended up getting this HiSense 35 pint dehumidifier. It runs under $200 if you get it on sale, and it's available from multiple places. But basically, it's a dehumidifier. I'm going to use it in the basement. It is rated at 3,000 square feet, which is way better than the one it's replacing. And I really like the way it comes in a package here. It comes apart super easy and actually doesn't require heavy lifting when you take it out of the box, which was huge. I've not seen a lot of products come like that smartly packed. Tear the box up the side and kind of let it come off the side like that rather than trying to pull the heavy unit out of the box. You don't have to lift it. It's on its own little mini pallet made of styrofoam and cardboard, and it comes apart with no back braking required. So the unit itself is on 4 casters. It's really nice. It moves around very easily. It has a nice power cord little wind up area in the back for storing it when you're not using it. It stores it very tidy. It does also come with a washable, reusable filter and a filter indicator light. So 2 great things about that. 1, the light will go on when it's time to wash the filter, and 2, you can just simply wash the filter. You don't have to go out and buy a clean filter, which for some of the other things I've reviewed, those filters can run you between $30 and $100 for air filters, and I'm sure filters probably would be in the same market. So it's really nice that you don't have to incur that cost with this unit. You just got to peel off the plastic here on the display. It is 35 pint capacity. There's a little bin here that you would have to empty if you use it in that way where there's no drainage. But I'm actually going to use the external drain, the continuous drainage option, because I have a garden hose and a sump pump already. So and this is in the basement, so it would, it's easier for me. I don't have to go down and empty the bin every time it fills up. And basically where that is you got to pull the drawer all the way out to see where to hook up the hose, and it's going to go through that little pass through in the side of the unit, the garden hose, and then it's going to screw in right there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the old unit, and then we'll hook it up. And it does come with a pretty handy instruction manual. I was pretty impressed. It was well written, and it's big enough that it covers a lot of areas. First thing I'm going to do is unplug the old unit, make sure it's unplugged before I go any further. And then just looking at how the old unit was set up, there's a garden hose drain for continuous drainage that goes into a sump pump here. And the sump pump is electric powered, and it has a gravity backup with the cold water line. So if the power goes out, the cold water line runs and it actually forms its own kind of siphon pump. So it's pretty good. I don't feel risky at all about putting more water into there. You can see the old one is a little bit just mineral stained on the bottom where the water did flow out of it. And maybe I could replace that at another time, but I'm going to reuse it for now. So you take the garden hose, if you're going to use continuous drain, you slide it through the opening on the side, and then if you got to kind of get down there where the connector is, and that's where it screws in. And it doesn't take much effort to screw it in. It's just kind of in a inconvenient spot to be able to see what you're doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten that up, and I think I'm actually going to use the wrench here and just give it a little bit of an extra, not too tight, but just a little bit of an extra tightening here with the wrench to make sure it's not going to drip on me. And now that that's in place, we can undo the power cord in the back of the unit, get it plugged in, and we'll put the bucket back in, although it should not need to use the bucket, and we'll go ahead and power it on. So out of the box, you power it on, just making sure the fan runs, and then we're going to go through the settings here. There's a couple different ways you can configure it. Basically on the configuration, I'm going to configure it so that it runs only when needed, when the relative humidity in the room gets above 50%. So it's telling me based on its initial reading that the room has a humidity level around 38 right now. And that's going to come down after the fan runs for a while. It's really, I mean, out of the box, it's trying to assess really quickly, and that number comes down pretty quick because it's actually pretty dry right now. But the way we've got the fan set on auto and set to manual, that's the mode I'm going to use. So I'm going to leave it, basically I'm going to leave it on, but I'm going to leave it on in a mode that it only will run when the humidity gets to a certain level, 50%. And then it'll kick on and bring the humidity down and then turn, go off. But continuously monitor, more or less, is the term. You can also set it on manual just to be on, and you can set a sleep timer on it, and there's a couple other ways to configure it. But for me, for my basement, this ticks all the boxes. It's relatively quiet. It's easy to set up. It has continuous draining, continuous monitoring. I can leave it on, and it's more or less, as long as the breaker doesn't get thrown, it's kind of a set and forget type appliance. And here's a quick decibel test. It is rated around 49, I believe, decibels, but it came up a little louder on my test, but the furnace had also kicked on, so that's probably pretty close to it. It's in the low 50s, high 40s, I would say. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or click the bell to subscribe.